Uh-oh. Okay, we're back. And this is probably going to be the last video for this little series. So let's move right along, and then I'll show you how you can actually see the finished project and some of the stuff you can learn by doing. But now we got to flip up and down, and now we have to get him to be random as far as whether or not to be heads or tails. So let's see. We're going to need a variable. So I'm going to make a variable, and I'm just going to make a variable called result. Right? It's result. Okay. So now I have a variable that's called result, and I can go to a control, I believe it is. Give me just a second here. I'm going to, yeah, right here. So way down here, after he gets done flipping, I'm going to set the result to not 0. Look, check how cool this is. This is so cool. I can actually set the result to pick a random number. I can just stick this right in here. Is that sweet? I mean, that's really cool. So pick a random number from 1 to 2. Okay? I think some of you guys probably already see where I'm going with this. So I'm going to pick a random. It gets done. It flips up. It flips down. It says pick a random number of 1 and 2. So now I have to go in my controls, and I need this if-then loop. So I'm going to say, I'm going to go on there like this. And this is same thing. I'll tell you, it's so cool. As long as you got the concepts down with programming like this, you can take these concepts and move it to any programming language. So far, we've clicked a variable and we've put a variable as something. So if, and I'm going to go ahead and put one of these equal guys in here, and some of it just making sure that you even know it. So if the oops, hey, cancel, whatever that was. If the result is equal to 1, let's have it be if result equals 1, let's go ahead and go to looks, and let's switch to costume. I think costume 1 was this, and really I should have named these better. Let's see if hopefully it'll change everything. Let's call them heads, and let's call this costume 2 tails, and we'll call this one flip. I think it will all update. I'm kind of doing this right on the fly. Okay. So switch to costume heads. Then I'm going to switch to costume flip. Then to costume tails. And then the costume flip. And then the costume heads flip tail. Sorry about that. I should have done that all right along. So if the result is 1, let's make it heads. Else, let's have it switch to costume tails. And we should see every once in a while, it will never land on flip. There's heads, and you can see whenever you make a variable, it will tell you what the result is, and we can make those non-visible too pretty soon. Oh, there we go. So we got a randomness that goes heads and tails, and now we just got to put in a thing that says we got to have another variable, what somebody guesses. So let's go ahead and get that taken care of right now. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new sprite, and I'm going to paint a new sprite. And let's just make a couple quick little simple pimple buttons. What do you say? What do you say? I'm going to draw a little button like this. And I'm going to, let's see here. How big is that button? That looks pretty darn big to me. And I am in bitmap mode. I need vector mode. And I am going to just go ahead and get rid of everything I got here, because I like to start in vector mode. It gives me a little bit more control. So I'm going to make a much, much smaller button and a smaller button than that. And that looks pretty good. And in this button here, I'm going to with a nice scratch font. I'm going to go choose heads. Yeah, and had I been a little thinking ahead of time, I would have, let's make these buttons nice blue, lighter color blue, and move this choose heads right in there. Choose heads, yay. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight the whole thing and group them up and put a choose heads on this side. And let's go ahead and right mouse click this and duplicate him. This is now called Sprite 3, and you can tell that I'm on Sprite 3 by the fact that I'm actually pointing at him down here. So I'm going to take this, and I should be able to ungroup him, and I can take the choose heads out, and I think I can just go ahead and like this, go tails, and I'll move that back in here. I probably didn't even have to move it, but it just seemed like the right thing to do at the time. I do the whole thing and group it. I got choose tails, and hurrah. And one thing I kind of like, I think I'd like to do is, I just don't want to, what I want to have people be able to do is click the button and have it start the whole game. So in order to do that, we actually need to duplicate a costume. We have to have another costume with just a slightly different color so we can flash to that color. And let's just go ahead and make the costume light green. That will be really obnoxious. Yeah, light green like that. And let's use this sprite and duplicate him and make costume 2. We'll make him the same light green for consistency's sake. Yeah. And I'm going to choose these guys. I'm going to start them off in costume 1 just because I can. And then in my scripting, now look at the scripts are really dependent on the sprite. All my scripts right now are all dependent on this coin sprite. I'm going to go ahead and put a script to these guys right here. In fact, we're going to take, in fact, we're going to have to do something a little bit fancier with the click sprite. And if, by the way, if you guys notice, if I want to take something off, I just grab it and move it off to the side. And you're going to have to help each other with this. So you're just going to learn this one by doing. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the choose heads. And in my event this time, I'm going to say when this sprite is clicked, I'm going to go, first I'm going to say switch costume to costume 2. And I'm going to have it just wait a really short amount of time. We're talking like 0.1 seconds. And then I'm going to have it switch back down to costume 1. And then I'm going to have it do a broadcast. And like I said, this can be transferred for a lot of different programming languages. So I'm going to have it do a broadcast. And it's going to say broadcast message, new message. I'm going to say start. And I'll show you why I did that. So right now, I can go back to my coin down here in sprites, go back to my coin, and now I can say, when I receive, now the flag shouldn't do anything. Now it has to actually receive the broadcast from start. How does the broadcast from start happen? It happens when that sprite is clicked, he flashes, and I'm expecting to see how it flashes. It just gives you a little bit of feedback. That might be a kind of a fast flash, but in fact, I think I'll just make the 0.1 second, 0.2 seconds, just to give it a little bit more of a flash. Yeah, and away I go. So I like that. So I'm going to duplicate these guys. And oh, you know what? Watch this. I can kind of do this. It's kind of cool. There's a backpack feature. So I'm going to stick this in my backpack down here. How do I do that here? Hey, come on. The backpack is where you're supposed to be able to put stuff on other sprites. Can I go like that? Okay, you guys are gonna have to figure out how to use backpack. Apparently, at one time I was able to do the backpack, but I'll just get rid of this stuff because it was actually pretty simple to do. So I got to go to choose tails. Oh, I did it. What do you think of that? Oh, just dragging it onto the tails did it. That is slick. I learned something new. So back to when this sprite is clicked, switch to costume 2, wait 2 seconds to the broadcast start. So right now, yay, and it flashes. Now the only thing that's left is we need one more variable. So I have one variable called result. I better make one more as the guess. Okay, so now I have a variable called guess. And so when I choose heads, I'm back on my head sprites. I got I should actually do something before I broadcast start. I'm gonna change my result to, how did I do this? Okay, I'll let you guys figure this one out. Let me see here. I'm thinking out loud here. I should have previewed this. So when I click that, oh, I go broadcast start. And when I choose heads, how did I say that on my script back here? Okay, hold on. I'm going to pause this really quick.